Hello, class. This is a walkthrough of sample problem number 5 from chapter 7. I'm going to use the template that I have posted out into Canvas for you all to use. It does have some totals in it, but I'm going to walk through what exactly is different about the FIFO method from the weighted average method. All right, so the big difference in the FIFO method is that we care about the cost of the beginning units that were prepared separately. So we need to break those out and charge our costs off a little bit differently because we're tracking an additional group of items. All right, so what we're going to start off with here, and there is a completed walkthrough out there for sample problem number 5, but I really strongly encourage you to actually walk through and complete it in the template as well, just so that you get the understanding of what is different rather than just plugging it into the completed spreadsheet. All right. Now, for the chapter 7 problem number 5, we've got HE double incorporated. Produces hockey sticks and uses first in, first out method of process costing. And direct materials are added at the beginning of production with conversion costs incurred uniformly during production, like the other problems we've looked at here. So we've got 10,000 units in beginning work in process. And we completed, let's see, we began production on another 35,000 units. All right, so total of 45,000 units that we're trying to keep track of here. Now, completed items that were transferred out during the period, we completed 35,500 units. All right, so if we had 10,000 units, we're assuming we completed those units. And then if we want to arrive at 35,500, the difference between that and the 10,000 is 25,500. Whoops, 25, there's a typo, there we go, 25,500. So total completed and transferred out, 35,500. All right, now we assume that because these were completed or started during the previous period and all the raw materials get added at the beginning, there's going to be 0 units here for direct materials on those. And there's going to be, these were started and completed for that. And then also they were started and completed, so they're 100% for conversion costs. Now, these WIP that we had, beginning work in process units were 50% complete for conversion costs. So that means that the equivalent units here is 0.5 times the 10,000. So we have a total of 30,500 units for the completed equivalent units. All right. And then our WIP, so during the period, we've got 35,500 here that were completed, but we had to account for 45,000. So that means we take what we had up there minus what we know we completed. That means we had 9,500 in WIP. And actually, let's see, and those were 80% complete. So this is set up actually to calculate your equivalent units for conversion costs, and it does have 0.8 in there already from when I did it before. So if you're doing another problem, make sure you update the percentage complete there. And then these ones would be fully complete for direct materials because they were started into production during the period. So we have 35,000 equivalent units then for materials there. I'm going to make this a little bit narrower so that I can see that column over there. Just do that. All right. Now, so equivalent units of production for conversion costs then is this 38,100 units. All right, so now we need to calculate our costs here. All right, so the costs associated with our beginning work in process was 45,000 for direct materials and 15,000 for conversion costs. All right. So that gets us to a total. Let's just add in a total column here. So sum C20 through B20. All right. And then I'm just going to copy this down here. Now, for costs added during the period, we incurred an additional 145,000 in direct materials and 120,000 in conversion costs. Okay, so that gets us to 190,000 for direct materials total between the WIP beginning balance and what we incurred during the period, and the costs added during the period. So now we're going to calculate our cost per equivalent unit. Now, the important thing here is we're only charging out, because we're keeping that WIP, the beginning WIP separate, we're only charging out the costs that were added during the period. So we're going to take the costs added during the period divided by the units to account for. And that is going to get us our cost per equivalent unit of 414 and 315. So, and the reason why is because we're only including stuff that has costs in units during the period. We aren't including any of those already charged off costs, only the ones that haven't been added yet here. So we don't need to worry about subtracting anything out for the beginning WIP because we only include items that were done during the period here. So we also only want to do costs added during the period here under this FIFO method. So that's a big difference between this and the work in process method. All right. From here, then we need to figure out, okay, what were the costs to complete the beginning WIP? So that's going to be the number of units times the equivalent units over here, not the actual number, but the equivalent units times that cost. So we've got 5,000 units equivalent, so 50% completion, or actually I'll do this. So D10 times our costs to complete of D24. Now, if we did this here, we could technically do this right, exact same thing, C10 times C24, but because there's nothing in there, it's going to be 0. All right. And then we're going to, whoops, want to sum that. There we go. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me, wait, what am I doing here? 15,000. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Looking at the wrong row here. Let's see here. So, no, I didn't. Hold on. Now I'm getting myself mixed up. 1 second here. Undo that since I actually did want that in there. Okay, yeah, so costs to complete the WIP were just the additional conversion costs there. So we've got that total costs for the WIP were the beginning costs plus the completion costs. So that's looking good. And then cost of the started and completed units, that's just going to be the number of started and completed units. So we had B11 up there, times, actually, well, we could do this. Actually, let's just do this as a sum. We'll do these ones first. So number of units there, C11, times the cost per unit, C24. we can copy that over there. And then just, I'm going to sum this here. So that's summing those two right there. All right, so 185,958. So the total for the WIP cost of the beginning WIP plus the cost of the started and completed units gives us the total costs of the transferred out. Okay. And then from there, the costs assigned to the remaining WIP is just your ending WIP units. So C13 times C24. And then here, the D13 times D24. And then if we sum that, just copying that sum function over, it's those two cells there. So that gets us costs for the WIP total of 63,294. So what is April's total production cost per equivalent unit? Okay, so that's going to just add those together. And I got to add in, hold on here. It doesn't have any decimal points. Let's add those in. All right, so 729 looks like. And then what are the total costs transferred out of production? Well, we can just grab that right here, 261,706. And then the total cost of ending work in process inventory is the 63,294. And add in that, they don't want us to round on here. So let me just go back out here and make sure we've got our decimal points in here. Just in case, 27, so this should be 261,705.85, not rounded, and then 63,294.15. Whoops. Go away, buddy. There we go. Would not let me enter that until I got rid of that notice. All right. So that should get us there. And there we are. Yep. So just remembering that we're taking the costs added during the period here instead of the total costs. That's really the big difference in calculation here between this method and the weighted average method.